Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
SheRaSeven here. We're messing up already, but it doesn't matter. Um,
I'm back.
like I'm really frustrated right now because
Okay, I don't think it's going to be any more interruptions. So.
yeah. Well, the thing is, right now I'm actually in Red Hook right now, and so I'm actually
Mhm.
in front of a house, but because the location is so
Oh.
good, I'm like, hopefully they don't catch me.
Uh-oh.
All right. So, anyways, let me see. There's already people there. All right. So look. So tell me, you were a mortician, right? I'm curious about that one part. You were a mortician before?
Yes, I was.
And I
Uh-huh.
actually met a mortician a while back, and they're interesting people. Very interesting. They have
Well, they are a little strange.
yeah, they have a unique concept of death. They don't care. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
What got you into it
Well,
though?
I just wanted to do something different, and like
That's different.
I always been fascinated with death and stuff like that. So.
Wow, man. It's funny because like ever since I know her, now I notice more funeral homes. It's like they're more
Mhm.
there than in the past. It's like, oh shit, that's a funeral home. It's like they're everywhere though.
I
Funeral homes
know.
are everywhere. You just don't notice them,
Until you've been to one or work in one, then you see
or
them all.
or you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So look, anyways, I was watching the video. The really fascinates me about the videos that you have is because like they're about the stuff that most people don't talk about, kind of like about the reality of how can I say, like marriage and about getting a guy and about like the real facts about when you find a guy, you want to look for stability. Like a lot of the times good emotions is good, but stability is important because I feel like a lot of relationships, the finances aren't good enough. I guess they end up dying down, especially the video about independent women. Like
Hmm.
tell me about that video about that.
A lot of women these days, they're kind of trained to be very independent. And then when they want to finally get a man, they're very masculine already. So I feel like they're going to repel masculine men because they already have enough masculinity. And I feel like masculine men like feminine women. So
Hmm.
when a woman is always able to do everything for herself, buy her own drinks, talk about how much money she makes, how far she is up in her career, and how independent she is. That's the same thing as men talk about with their buddies and their colleagues at work.
Hmm.
When they come to a woman, they want to talk about other things, and they want to experience the feminine side of that woman versus just like talking to a colleague at work, a male colleague. They're talking about the same thing. So if
Hmm.
you ever watch one of those movies where this lady who works with him, she's talking business, but she likes him, and then another woman walks in who's not talking anything about business, wearing a flirty dress, his attention automatically goes to her. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Interesting. And the thing is like a lot of people think like it's about being yourself,
Hmm.
but like you have to. I feel like you have to be strategically yourself.
Right, strategically. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because like there's a fine line between being yourself and actually like not being so. How can I say is not being so like forward like. But because women feel like they need to be themselves, because
Hmm.
I'm a woman, I don't react to another guy. You kind of miss out on the fact that you may be making the guy insecure.
Right. I feel like by being yourself, you also have to represent, the other self that you have besides your career or what you can do. If you didn't have that career, who would you be? What would you talk about?
Definitely, definitely. So, what should a woman do if she's actually like, because a lot of them is a good problem, by the way. If you're successful and you can't, like, that's a good problem to have, all right? That's one thing, okay? But like, what should a woman do then if she's like, like successful and intimidates guys? Because like, again, this is something that I didn't know, something that I didn't notice. Because again, my perspective is I'm more superficial. You see, I don't
Right.
think about that, like, like get a guy, make sure you don't show how much successful you are. But how do they find that fine line between being themselves, but at the same time being smart about it?
I would never tell a man how much money I made ever. I would never upsell myself as far as, my position in a career. I would simply say, yes, I work. Yes, I have a job. I can support myself. and leave the rest a mystery. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't need to know that unless you're bragging about yourself, you know. So I feel like unless they're digging and asking you all these questions, you know, how much do you make? Da 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 da. You know, they're probably not really interested in you as a person. But if you just leave the mystery open, like, oh yes, I work in the medical field. I work
Oh shit. Say it again. Oh, wait a minute, I can't hear you. I kind of fucked up big time. 1 second. I'm
Can you hear me
experimenting.
now?
I can hear you now. Yeah. You say working days and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So you don't have to tell them what you do for a living. Like if you're a doctor, you could say, I work in the medical industry. I work days, and you know, I can support myself. I'm pretty stable. You don't say, oh, I'm a doctor. I drive a Porsche, and I make, you know, this much money a year.
Yeah. Sounds
But
like a guy.
you kind of keep it neutral. Like
Mhm.
they can't say you lied.
Yeah. It's funny you said like about. I always believe that a woman should pay half for the date, but then you said that a woman shouldn't. A woman should let the guy pay. You see?
I feel like if the man is trying to impress that woman, he's going to pay for the date. I feel like if he's trying to just go out with a woman and not trying to really impress her, he's probably not going to pay for the date. So you can, like, for a woman, you can already tell the type of man who is trying to impress you. They're going to go all out, and
Yeah.
the other man who feels like you have to impress them, and then the power shifts in that relationship. So to me, you know, I feel like women used to be courted, and now they're just kind of being interviewed.
Okay. And so, do you believe do you believe that's a when is that the exception though?
Um, I feel like if you're seriously trying to date and you really like this person, then yes, you should pay. If you're on the interview, like if you're trying to interview someone and you don't think you're going to like her and you just, you know, whatever. If there's no risk, like if you don't care if she calls you back or not, yeah, ask her to pay. But if you don't want to leave us, if you want her to call you back and brag to her friends and family, I think I found the one, then yes, you got to pay.
Oh wow, that's interesting. That is very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah.
Keep talking.
No, it's like women like to brag on their men, the people that they're dating, and if you pay, they're gonna brag, like they're gonna talk your name up. They're gonna be like, "Oh my God, he is so this, and he's such a gentleman. He paid on our date. I was so impressed." But if you don't pay, they'll be like, "How'd your date go?" "Oh, it was all right. He was cool."
Yeah. No, definitely. Huh. Interesting. Now, look, another one that I found interesting is about the cheating, about letting the guy cheat. That's another one. Like, because I always say that I'm reading the book, The 48 Laws of Power, and one of the laws it says conceal your intentions. Like, learn how to conceal your intentions, and essentially you shut the fuck up sometimes, you know. And
Mhm.
like, don't just because you see a sign that he's cheating, don't go out and like say, hey, you're cheating. Like, what, like you kind of like said, like slowly let him do it, but you explain it because I find that kind of interesting.
Okay, I feel like if you think your man is cheating, before you jump to conclusions, have a conversation with him. Say, you know what? I think we should open the relationship. You know, he's gonna be like, huh? You
Oh,
know, I think we should open the relationship. You know, you can, you know, I feel like you're kind of wanting to see other women, and I feel like if that's something that you want to explore,
1 second.
why don't we open the relationship? And so he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna get all defensive, like, what the hell? Who does she want to date? Now the focus is off of him and onto you. And you know, it's like, you know, I don't mind if you go out with other women. Like, don't be even mad about it. It's like, I don't mind if you go out with other women because I've been trying to figure out, you know, how we can open this relationship, and you've already, you know, you given me the avenue. And so
Yeah.
now he's going to be like, well, I don't want to open the relationship. And then at that time you can say, okay, well, you know, why are you seeing other women then? You
I see. I
know,
see. Interesting.
and after you've known a while, he's going to think you've already started seeing other men, and so he's going to cut all that off, and he's going to be like, well, since he doesn't want any other man seeing you, he's going to make sure he knows where you are. He's where you are. You're at home. Oh, let's meet. We're at home for dinner tonight. We're not going anywhere. I'm not going out. You know, so I feel like it will be almost a jealousy thing, and he would kind of let the other relationship fizzle, and because
Mm.
he's more concerned with what you're doing now.
You know, it's kind of like people. It's kind of like people don't understand their actions until they're the ones who are in the receiving end. You know,
Right,
it's
right.
kind of like people only care about people who get bullied
Mm,
when they were the ones who got bullied.
right.
So it's kind of similar to that, where you're saying, oh, kind of like saying, okay, how about this? How about if I do that too?
Hmm.
See, kind of like it helps them have a little bit more understanding, like in terms of like having empathy, and it enables them to see like, oh fuck, like I don't want this to happen to me, you know, because you know, when you're doing this, you're thinking about your own self-interest, you know, and sometimes that makes it difficult for you to think outside yourself and like see, oh wait a minute, like this is not good, this is actually hurting them. So but at the same time, I feel like this actually exposes how he really feels.
Right. So yeah, so that's what I feel about like when I say let your man cheat, I don't mean like allow him to cheat without saying anything. Make sure he knows that you know, and it takes half the fun out of it. You know, oh, you're allowed to go out and date other women, no problem. You know, it takes half of the joy out of it because first of all, you're sneaking around, you have your woman's permission to go date this woman, and now you're trying to figure out if she's trying to replace you with something better. You know, so you're not
Mm.
going to be able to concentrate on seeing other women because now you're wondering is she going out with a man with more money that looks better than me? Why is she so happy?
Yeah, yeah. Why she coming home with a smile,
Yeah,
hair fucked up? You know, she's not even trying to make it look nice.
right. And then you just went out and you spent your money on this other chick, and the a man is spending money on your chick, so
Now,
you
yeah,
losing money, and she's
now
gaining.
that's difficult though, right there, man. Like you gotta, not a lot of people could do that. You know,
I know, but
like
that's what I call strategy. Okay, if you want this long-term relationship, you want this man to be your husband or whatever, you got to play the game. You got to play chess, not checkers.
yeah, yeah. But that's why I always say that your biggest enemy is always your emotions, not the
Right,
circumstance, because
right.
you
You
can
got
know
to
you. Mhm.
no, I was saying you got to look into 5 years into the future. Where do I want to be? This is what I have to do to get here. I have to play dirty.
Yeah, the thing is like short term thinking is a sign that you're reacting, you're doing things out of emotion rather than strategy. You know, like if you notice
Hmm.
like a lot of banks, like these motherfucking banks, like they strategize like 100 years in the future. Like
All
how
right.
the fuck, like you? I mean, you got to plan to get old, like to strategize
Yep.
100 years to the future. But even though it looks abstract, like that far, it's gonna happen. You know,
It is.
and it takes a lot of patience to do that. Like I don't know, I can't do that personally. I don't got no
I,
patience for that.
I feel like separate your emotion from your thinking, your logic. You got to have like a split brain almost. You got to be like, okay, if I act logically in 5 years, I can be married to this man. If I act out of emotion, he gonna dump me and call me crazy. Which one do I want?
Yeah. Now, this is the thing though. How do you get a man to want to marry you? Because it for most guys, especially for me, when I think about it, it's not a good deal for me. You know, like it's a horrible deal. Like I've seen those movies. I've seen the TV stars. You know, oh, I love her. I'll never leave her. You know, and then 2 years later, they're like, you know, he got to give up everything. You know, so it's kind of like, how do you got to do that? Because guys are more aware of the consequences of marriage. You see, and so.
Well, that's the whole point. You have to use reverse psychology to get a man to want to marry you. Um, you get into a relationship, you have fun, you like do everything fun that this man likes,
I like the fun.
and you go lots of places. So everywhere he looks, he's gonna remember you. You just saturate yourself into his life. You know what I'm saying? You leave stuff everywhere, just like you saturate yourself into his life. And then one day, like when you're ready for marriage, then you start saying, you know what? This has been so fun. I love being with you, but I feel like, I'm ready to take, I'm ready to go to the next level in my life.
Mhm.
And I feel like, I want to have kids and I want to be married one day.
That's
And
fair.
and then he'll say, well, I don't think I'm ready. It's like, oh no, I wasn't talking about you. Oh, I don't think you'd make a good husband. You're not husband material. You're not the kind to stay home and want have dinner and watch TV all night and cuddle. You're not. I don't see us doing that. I probably have to get someone more mature and blah blah blah. It's like just start talking about your future husband that you
Yeah.
haven't even met yet, and the guy's gonna be like, huh? I can do
That
that. Huh?
that kind of reminds me of like being called into to your boss's office. You think you're gonna get a
Hmm.
promotion, then you get fired.
Right. So I'm not talking about you. I know you're not. I know you're not the marrying type. So,
So the answer is,
um,
what are the signs that you look for that though? Like, what are the signs? Because like guys, there are some guys who will like you, and they'll like you, but some guys sometimes you will misconstrue the sign of love of liking you and loving you for, because someone can love you, but it doesn't mean that they want marriage. You know what I'm saying? And one of
mhm.
the worst things that women do is to pressure. When the pressure, man, when guys feel the pressure, you see what I'm saying? So like, how do you? What are the signs that you look for? Because personally, for me, like when I see a girl that she wants to get married, man, I'm running. You know, I'm like, get out of here, man. Get on that Tinder. But like, what are those signs that you look for? Like that women should look for in a man, and like, how do you bring out those signs? Like eliciting those signs, especially when guys are like suppressing it because they're afraid to express them.
What signs do I look for to see if a man will marry you or won't marry you?
Yeah, yeah, marriage. Yeah.
Will marry? When they can't like function without you, when you know that if you left their life, they would be totally lost and have to start all over, and you've gotten way better, and you actually upgraded yourself along the way, and you can go out and replace them in 2 seconds. That's how you know that they might want to marry you, because if they lost you, they would have lost investment,
Oh
time,
yeah.
energy. Everywhere they look, they're going to think about you. They're always going to compare other women to you, so they might as well marry you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Huh?
I don't say put pressure on them. I don't say put pressure on them. I say let them know you have options and that there are other men out there who are willing to marry you.
Yeah,
You
and
know
that's
what I
why
mean?
I feel like women should not make a man the sole purpose of their life, even though their emotions tell them to do that. I feel like
Hmm.
at least give the illusion that
Yeah,
they're not the main guy in their lives. Because of the thing is that when we feel something, like again, the is very
yeah,
easy.
right.
It's very easy.
I've had women ask me how to get their man to propose, and I said, well, pretend like you got a job offer in another state, and it's either you or him, or you or him or the job.
Oh
if
yeah.
you if you marry me, I'll stay, but if not, I got to go. If they really want you, they'll be like, okay, well, keep your job, and we could get married. Because if they fear losing you that much, they want you in their life. And they'll risk taking that next step. But if they don't care and it's like, well, go on, you have opportunities, go and take that other job, that means they weren't trying to marry you anyway.
It kind of
You know what I'm
reminds me
saying?
of like having a family member go to jail. Not that I have a family member go to jail, but like when they go to jail, suddenly you miss them more. Suddenly
Right.
you'll be willing to pay that $10,000 of bond,
Hmm.
because they're away. Not because you actually felt that, but because once you feel like you're gonna lose them, that's when laws aversion starts kicking in.
Right.
You're like, oh
It's
fuck,
everything is mental. Okay. If you can get him to think and imagine things a certain way, and he's going to react to that even though it's not even real. That's what
yeah,
he's
no,
going to
yeah.
react to.
Yeah, yeah, but the thing is, it all comes down to your emotions.
Right.
Because if you don't know how to control your emotions, you will not be able. Even if you know what to do, you won't be able to do it. You
Right.
know, because the emotions is what causes you to actually like be patient enough to start something and finish it. Because the thing is, it's kind of like in stocks. I don't do stocks, but generally speaking, stocks says that even though if the market is going down, stay there. Like,
Right.
don't be reactive. Don't let the downfall of the market dictate your actions. Like, just trust the system. Which in this case, just do what you know you have to do. You have a good strategy in mind. Stay there.
Hmm.
You see, the difficult part is staying focused, and the focusing part comes in when you get too emotional. When you get too emotional, you
Right.
lose focus, and you see
That
things that are not even there anymore. Like, you think he doesn't like you, in reality, he does.
right. I feel like women who are over emotional need to
Yeah,
have a journal and write all their issues down, and or call their best friend or a stranger and talk about it, so they get it all out. And then
yeah,
when it's time to come to their man, they're focused, they're calm, they got a plan, they got a strategy, but they've already gotten all that emotional stuff out of the way. You can't explode emotionally at a man, because you know that's not helpful.
yeah. And I feel like a big thing is the collective, when women have a collective hatred, a collective bitterness towards men. not because of one guy, but because of what one guy did to them, and as a result, they attribute it to everyone else. Kind of like stereotypes and discrimination, but for sexist. And it's not like you see a man because you hate old man, so you're not gonna hire him, but you're going to assume things about every man, and you're going to place it on every single guy that walks around. You see, it's kind of like Dominicans. Guys, women say, "Oh, you Dominican, huh?" Oh, okay. I'm like, what do you mean, girl? And so because they think you're Dominican, they think you're a player. They think you manipulate people. They think you're smooth with women. All that sort of stuff. But that's what happens, and so that tends to sabotage you because you're really labeling them. You're really saying who they are. And sometimes they're the total opposite of how you think they are. But the problem is that you're seeing the world through your emotions, through a squinted gaze, through a fog of emotions. And that causes you to actually lose a lot of guys who are good. Like sometimes the guys who you break up with are the guys you just, not all the time, but sometimes the guys who you break up with are the guys you should stay with a lot of the times. Now, it's hard to differ when that is, you know what I'm saying? But but if you have your emotions in check, the likelihood of you seeing the right guy and keeping the right guy is a lot higher.
Right. I feel like women do that. They do give the new guy a chance, but when they start seeing those red flags, then they start reacting. You know what I'm saying?
Overreacting.
Overreacting, yes. So if their last dude cheated on them and they were texting all the time and never text them back when, if they text their new guy, and the same thing happens, they're going to be like, okay, he's the same as the last one, So they're just, when they see that red flag, it's like, okay, he's just like my ex, so I got to treat him like my ex. So that's why it's important, like in a relationship, to kind of ask that person, what is your pet peeve? What don't you like? What is a deal breaker for you? And that woman's going to say, if you don't text me back in 10 minutes, I'm going to treat you like my ex, then you already know to be on it. You know what I'm saying? You're like, okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like finding what.
So let me text her. Let me set up an automatic text custom just for her, So then in case you do miss that text, you got an automatic text that's custom just for her. You'll be like, okay, hey baby, I'm gonna call you back in 10 minutes. I'm working right now. Whatever. Just to keep her from going off.
Interesting. One second. I'm seeing the chat got disconnected, but it's good. All right, good. Yeah, that's very interesting though. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like when I saw your videos, I was like, she reminds me of she reminds me of she reminds me of like a sane guest in The View, out of all the crazy ones, and there's one that has to actually make sense,
Well, I've lived through it, and I've gotten a lot of, I've gotten very far using logic versus emotion. So I figure, let's use logic and, put emotion on the back burner.
I was reading in one of the 48 laws of power, it says that the second one, it says don't trust your friends. Now, I'm not saying don't trust your friends, but in terms of, like, for example, it's kind of like having a friend, hiring a friend for a job. You think because you like your friend, you want to hire him, but the problem is that when it comes to hiring someone, you don't want to hire someone based on the relationship you have, but based on competence and skills. You see, right. And because you have any emotions towards them, you tend to be more biased. You tend to believe their lies a lot more. You be a lot more easily deceived. And so one of the things it says that you have to separate your friends from your coworkers, because if you include I was actually writing about this. It says that if you include emotions in your work relationships, that's how corruption happens. Where just because you like them, you stay quiet because you actually like the person. You see, and so when it comes to that, you have to have more of a logical. You have to include a lot of logic to that. And in the same way with relationships, that even though you love the guy, if you are too emotional, he's gonna lie to you, and you'll want to believe the lies.
Right. I know I deal with a lot of women who have had guys cheat on them repeatedly, give them all type of diseases, but they're still worried about them. Oh, is he going to come back?
Damn.
I'm like,
that's crazy. Holy shit.
I'm like, really? You don't think that he, by him leaving you and, cheating on you 10 times was a clue that he don't want you?
Yeah.
So first I'm thinking, these women are so attached emotionally that they throw all logic out of the window, and then they start becoming self-destructive.
Exactly. Everyone else sees it but them.
Right. And then after they've destroyed themselves, the man that they're chasing won't want them, and neither will any other man.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they'll lose. So rude at sanitation department. Um, they're there, and and even the thing is that you'll try to. The thing is that people don't know how much people don't know they're fucking up until they fucked up already, and it's too late. You see,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when they start coming to our channel and say, "I would have wish I would have had this a year ago," you know. And it wasn't because they were dumb. It's because you were emotional. A lot of the things when things don't make sense, there's always emotions behind it.
Right.
When things doesn't make sense, there's emotions behind it because emotions don't make any sense. You see,
Mm-mm.
and women are more emotional, emotional, irrational
Mm-hmm.
beings, per se, And even though that's what makes them women, because you need the emotion in order to nurture a child, you need emotion in order to, take care of a child who's being a dickhead. I mean, you need to love them. I mean, some of these kids are assholes, So that part is good, but at the same time, that sabotages them when in relationships because they're so emotional that it causes them to see things that are not there. And
Mm-hmm.
so they'll think the guy's good, but in reality, he's being an asshole. In
Mm-hmm.
reality, they're being mistreated. And these are things that you never know how much damage is being done until you look back and see the damage. You see?
Right. Yeah, I've had women say, "Oh, he don't have a job. He's, he this, he's that. He abuses me. He got 5 other kids. He's cheating on me, but I love him. I can't leave him." And then I'm like, "Do you love yourself?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's difficult though, especially with kids. And then you have a family. I think that's when it gets that's a part that I don't really get into. There's some parts in dating that I don't delve into because I just know certain things, like I don't know
Mhm.
everything, especially like when it comes to kids and you in a relationship, like I understand why they'll want to stay with the guy just for the kids, but at the same time, like a divided house, especially when they're fighting, is more toxic. Peace,
Right.
peace
If
of
you're
mind.
exactly, if you're gonna stay with someone for kids, don't emotionally detach from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If you're going to stay with somebody just for kids, you say, okay, you know what? We're together just for the kids. I'm no longer concerned what you're doing over here. You just daddy, I'm just mommy. We live together, do your thing. I'm going to do mine. Nobody has to know. If that's why the only reason you're there, yes, do that. You can't make something work that's not going to work unless you mutually agree on the type of relationship that you're having. It's a facade. Okay, the public thinks we're happily married. Really, you cheated on me, and I fell out of love with you, but we're still in love with these kids. So let's co-parent, make it work. And when we go out in public, smile and wait for the camera. Just like
yeah,
just like they do in Hollywood.
yeah.
Um, that will be my answer to co-parenting and not wanting to leave someone. Okay, but you can't be in love with that person anymore and not get your feelings hurt on a daily basis.
Yeah. That what really sucks the most is when you know that you're living a lie. You know
Right.
that
But
really.
but you have a goal. For example, if I stay with him and raise these kids, they're going to be balanced. They're going to have what they need. I'm not going to have to work 8 jobs and struggle and blah 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 blah. And when they get what they need, then if I don't want to be here anymore, I really don't have to.
But the problem is that like that's a good strategy short term, but a lot of women when they actually implement the strategy and actually do it, they leave when the kids leave. A lot of times they feel like they wasted their years.
Yeah, but who says you got to stay faithful?
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's true. Like you got to do what you got to do, but
Right.
see that's something I personally I tell them you do what you got to do,
Mhm.
because this is something that you got to let people make that decision, because it's a big one. Like
Right.
that's a big one right there, and it doesn't just involve you. And the thing is that it's a lot, but if it's hurting you, if it's tearing you up inside about the situation, not just in terms of you guys not being together, but at the same time in terms of how the relationship is and the dynamics. Once it starts affecting you, then that starts affecting the kids, because then
Yes, that's true.
the kids don't have the same person anymore.
Right. You have
Like
to
you don't
put your
react.
focus. You got to put your focus into something else, like a hobby, something that you love to do, and your focus will no longer be on that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I see a lot of women do it. Like you'll be surprised how many women are with the person, that they had kids with, but they have so many other things going on. They don't even have time to think about this relationship. It's like, okay, thank you for being here, for co-parenting. I got to do my stuff. I got to go shopping. I got to go hang out with my friends. I got to, do this. I got to do that with the kids. And it's almost just like a business. It's like running a business.
That's what it is, though. That's what it is. It is kind of like a business,
And he's happy because he don't have to cheat. He's happy because he doesn't have to pay child support and he doesn't have to move out into a 1-bedroom apartment. He's still getting the benefits of, living in a family, and so are you, but you're getting your freedom as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard to get the guy to agree, like to that kind of relationship, because the guys are more jealous, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they just never tell them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. No, it's true.
I always say never tell a man, if you cheated on a man, never tell him, because it hurts 10 times more than it would if he told you he cheated on you. Because women forgive too easy. They're like, oh, it was my fault. I should have been there more. But if you tell a man somebody else has been up in his woman, it's totally different. So you lie and you deny and you never admit it. You just say, I thought about it, but I just couldn't do it, and you just give him that illusion. I'm a good girl. I'm going to church. I'm going to do charity work. Don't tell him what you're really doing, because he might know in the back of his mind, but he don't want to know for sure.
Yeah, you don't like it. It's the thing. The thing is that sometimes keeping it real goes wrong a lot. Beyond, like, if it's tearing you up inside, like, okay, if it's tearing you up, go ahead, but realize the consequences. Guys are not gonna say, oh, you cheated on me. Oh, it's okay. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. Like, we're not gonna say it's okay. Like that doesn't work out. Like, if you are not gonna do it again, or like one thing, if you're not gonna do it again, don't say it, because if I don't know, it never happened. It's only happening in your head, like, if you're not gonna do it again. Now, if the relationship is not good and he's never gonna find out, do it. But at the same time, you gotta be aware of what may happen. And so that's why you got to keep that distance. If you're going to do it, you got to keep that emotional distance between him.
Right. And some women will get mad, and when they're arguing with their man, and if they did cheat, they're going to be like, that's why I cheated on you. And that's the one thing a woman should never say to a man she's trying to keep. Say anything else. That's why you ugly. That's why you broke. But don't say that's why I cheated on you, because that's it.
Yep. It's keeping your emotions in check.
Yeah. Say anything, but that's why I cheated on you. Just say anything but that. I don't care what it is.
And that's why you have a little dick. That too.
Well,
that's why your dick is small. What, bitch?
That might be number 2 not to say.
Yeah. Don't say that, man. No, my goodness. But yeah, look, this is the thing right now. My laptop is dying right now. Okay. So we may have to end this, but But my subscribers should definitely check out her channel, because it's not what I teach. It's more about like real stuff in terms of marriage, in terms of like getting a guy. It's a different perspective. It's a totally different perspective. It's not the asshole superficial kind of stuff. It's more real shit that actually you won't hear from me, like stuff like this. All right.
I keep it very real.
Yeah. Definitely, man. Definitely. But yeah, is there anything else you want to say?
Yes. Just put my link in the description box below, and y'all come over to my channel if y'all want to hear the truth and how women really think.
All right. Anyways,
strategy on how to get a man to marry you.
Oh yeah, get that money, right? This is one thing. I never judge women who just go for. You also talk about getting money from guys. I never judge women for that, because that's also the same thing that men do with women by just going for their looks. Same shit. Different it manifests in different ways. So a lot of the times, like, we should never give a fuck about people who judges us based on how we choose to date. You see, because you're only young once and you only live once. Once you're dead, they don't exist.
And we're sacrificing something for that money too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, it's true. Like it's. There was a study done by monkeys. No, not by monkeys. Well, we kind of are monkeys. But there was a study done that they showed they taught chimpanzees, one of the monkeys, the concept of currency, right? And so they gave them coin, and they learned that certain coins gets them certain fruits. So they like the fruits, bananas and all that shit. What's the first thing they started buying? The male and the female chimp started exchanging sex for coins. The first thing they started doing. You believe that shit? That is
Yes, I do.
insane.
Yes, I do.
Those are perverted ass chimps, man. The first thing, like they don't even think about, saving money. They didn't think about getting
Because
some
it's a
monkey
challenge.
insurance.
Because they don't have to chase. The time is money, so they're saving time and
Yeah.
effort.
Like, do you think there was like an elderly monkey judging them? They weren't judging each other. Like that, they don't work like that. Like it's nature. What's human is the judgment. Humans, that's what I feel like separates human also is judging each other based on a
So,
standard that we don't even meet.
so the monkey with the most coins got the most women.
Oh yeah.
Exchange.
Exactly, man. That's how it is.
The,
See,
the
nature.
the entertaining monkey, the funny monkey that was broke. What happened to him? He didn't get no fruit
Nah,
or no
man.
women.
He just like start.
He was just watching.
Yeah, wagging his dick and shit. But it's one of those things, man. Nature shows. See the thing. Nature is very crude. Nature doesn't filter things.
Right.
Like you live and you die. If you're weak, you'll die. If you're strong, you'll survive. Nature commits genocide on a daily basis. Animals commit genocide on a daily basis. Like some chimps go into certain tribes and they kill each other just for the hell of it. Like they're such fucking assholes that rather than stabbing you or anything, they fucking cut your dick off because they know it hurts. Like that's how nature is. So nature shows us that sex is and currency. It's actually the oldest kind of currency in the world. You see, and so
That's the first profession was prostitution.
exactly, man. You didn't need a degree for that.
Yeah.
There's no degree for that,
I
man.
got what you want. You got what I need. I got what
See,
you want. You got what I need.
the only person who's judging are people from the outside. You see, because like we all pay for sex in some way or the other. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
time is also a currency. Emotion is a currency. So it's
Mm-hmm.
one of those things. But yeah, yo, check out her channel. My laptop's gonna die right now because it's on the sun. But yo, that was fun. All right, so
Thank you. Let's do it again soon.
goodbye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.